I hope you've enjoyed May the 4th week. This video has been a long while in the making, and one I started all the way back when the Lost 20 video was made, so I hope you enjoy. Hello and welcome back to Vault Holocron, where today we are going to cover all former Jedi, so enjoy the video. Just for some context, I was originally going to do this video with the Lost 20 video, so when explaining why members are not the Lost 20, that would be why. Note, there will be spoilers for a lot of Star Wars material, although most of it not recent, so watch at your own risk. First up is Alia, a Jedi which there are no records of by the Jedi, but is said to have been exiled to Dathomir and trained other women in the Force, eventually forming the Night Sisters. Due to the Jedi having no records though, it is uncertain whether she was a Jedi or even existed at all.
Perhaps the archives are incomplete.
If an item does not appear in our records, it does not exist.
Now for Uob, also known as Uob the Apostate. He was a Gregorian and used the Farkiller, a weapon which was a hybrid between a lightsaber and a sniper rifle, and was made by the Jedi crystallist Var Will. This weapon could take out targets thousands of kilometers away and ended up being the reason he was purged from the Jedi Order, due to the Jedi believing the weapon showed no restraint. Next up is Var Will. Var Will is the Jedi crystallist which was tasked by Uob to modify lightsaber technology to create the Farkiller. Var Will was removed from the Jedi Order along with Uob. Now for a character you will probably all know, it's Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka is the Togruta and former Padawan of Anakin Skywalker. To describe everything about Ahsoka would take forever due to the years of content, so here is a brief rundown. Ahsoka fought with the 501st in important battles such as the Second Battle of Geonosis. She also survived these worm thingies which tried to make her join the Hive Mind. She fought Grievous. She fought Maul. She survived Order 66. She ran an organisation of rebels as Fulcrum. She fought Vader. She entered the World Between Worlds and helped Din Djarin find a Jedi for Baby Yoda. Ahsoka left the Jedi Order after she was framed by Barriss Offee for bombing the Jedi Temple and killing clones. Deciding that she no longer felt trusted by the Order, she wanted to make a new life for herself. Now for Ferren Barr, an Ikochi male. Barr went into exile after the Jedi Purge, secretly forming an alliance with the Mon Calamari after foreseeing the significance of the Mon Calamari in the fight against the Empire. He died to Vader's Crimson Blade. Next we have the Rhodian Dilgar. Dilgar striked out against the Order by amassing forces and raiding kyber crystals. He perished while fighting the Jedi Taradon, who crashed both of their ships after realising they were equal in skill when it came to piloting. Now for the 8th brother. He was a Tyrellian Django jumper and was an Inquisitor. He fought against a rebel group called the Spectres and died on Malachor to Maul. Next up is the 5th brother, a humanoid male. He was tasked with stopping the rebellion and died on Malachor to the hands of Maul. Now for the Grand Inquisitor. In his Jedi days, the Grand Inquisitor was a temple guard and partook in the arrest of Ahsoka and Barriss Offee. After the Jedi Purge, the Grand Inquisitor hunted down Jedi, as seen in the Vader comics and Rebels. The Grand Inquisitor died to the blade of Canon Jarrus, but Vader prevented him from passing into the Force. This meant that his body spirit inhabited the Jedi outpost on attempts to kill Jedi seeking knowledge for an eternity after.
There are some things far more frightening than death.
Luke actually sprung this trap to get his yellow lightsaber. We all know him, we all hate him. Next up is Pong Krell. Krell was a Jedi Master who, after having visions of a new force replacing the Republican Jedi, secretly embraced the dark side. He used his power to undermine the Republic war effort in an attempt to join Dooku as his apprentice. However, Ponkrell was captured and killed by the 501st once they found out his agenda. Although a Jedi Master, Ponkrell was not a member of the Lost 20, because he technically never left the Order and only ever used the dark side in secret. Next up is Taron Malicos from Jedi Fallen Order. Taron Malicos was a Jedi Master which escaped to Dathomir after Order 66. He fell to the dark side and led the Night Brothers after killing Viscus. He died to Cal Kestis and Merrin. Malicos does not count as a member of the Lost 20 since he fell to the dark side after the Jedi Purge. Now for Masana Tide, also known as the Ninth Sister. Masana Tide joined the Inquisitors after the Jedi Purge. She hunted for Ferran Bar and later Cal Kestis. However, she was killed by Cal Kestis on Kashyyyk. Next is Barisofi. Barisofi was the Padawan of Luminara Unduli. She fought in the Battle of Geonosis and many other battles in the Clone Wars, such as the Second Battle of Geonosis, where she became friends with Ahsoka. However, she came to believe that the Jedi had lost their way, especially the Council. She orchestrated the Jedi Temple bombing to create mistrust for the Jedi and tried to frame Ahsoka, but was eventually caught by Anakin and then arrested. Now for Sol Mogra. Sol Mogra was the apprentice of Neil Idif and inherited Neil Idif's amulet used to hold Idif's dark thoughts. This amulet caused Mogra to terrorize the underworld on Coruscant. He even pursued himself trying to find the culprit. When he found out, he let the darkness within the amulet consume him and fled into the shadows. Next up is Ulic Kel Droma. Ulic Kel Droma was a Jedi which volunteered to infiltrate and destroy the craft after his master was killed by them, but was consumed by the dark side and ended up taking over the craft along with fallen Jedi Exar Kun. He later redeemed himself by cutting himself off from the Force. Now for Exar Kun, which was a Sith Lord.
A Sith Lord?
He helped to take over the craft. Fun fact, Dryden Voss owned a desk with an obsidian base stolen from a Sith tomb and had our temple honouring Sith Lord Exar Kun inscribed on it. Next up is Anakin Skywalker. There is loads on Anakin, so I'll just give a brief rundown. He started life as a slave where he won a pod race and built C-3PO. He left with Qui-Gon and blew up the droid control ship. He trained under Obi-Wan, took on his own Padawan, Ahsoka, fought with the 501st, went to Mortis, and he later became Darth Vader where he killed many Jedi. Anakin came back to the light side after Luke refused to become a pawn to it like he had. Anakin died due to the damage done by Palpatine's lightning. Next up is Asajj Ventress. She was a Dathomirian and was noticed by a Jedi for her abilities with the Force. Her master was killed and she ended up turning to the dark side. She became an assassin under Dooku, however when Dooku was told to kill her, this stopped. She went on to become a Night Sister until Grievous and his forces almost completely killed the Night Sister race. After this she became a bounty hunter. Next up is Quinlan Vos. Quinlan Vos was a Jedi Master, which is notable for his ability to perceive others' memories after touching something significant to the memory. Quinlan Vos turned to the dark side after being tortured by Count Dooku. However, he later came back to the light after seeing his love Ventress die for him. He's thought to have survived the Great Jedi Purge. Quinlan Vos is not a member of the Lost 20 due to not actually leaving the Jedi Order or being exiled. Now for the Seventh Sister. The Seventh Sister was a Jedi hunter and was tasked with hunting down Ahsoka Tano by Darth Vader. She wanted to replace the Grand Inquisitor but was killed by Maul on Malachor. Next is Trilla Suduri, also known as the Second Sister. She was a Padawan under Seer Juno. She and Seer were both subjected to the torture of the Empire. This caused Trilla to become an Inquisitor. She was skilled with a lightsaber and intelligent. She was killed by Darth Vader for failure after being defeated by Cal Kestis. Now for the sixth brother. The sixth brother was an Inquisitor and hunted down Force-sensitive children and Jedi. He helped Vader on Mon Cala, but ultimately died later to Ahsoka in the uprising of Radar. Next is Proset Dibs, also known as the 10th brother. Dibs was a Jedi Master and fought in the Clone Wars for a time. On an operation to Hisrich, Dibs' faith in the Jedi's role as peacekeepers conflicted with their new roles as generals. This led to Dibs attempting to kill Mace Windu when he got back from his mission. Dibs was put on trial by Yoda for this, but was spared from death by Mace Windu, which chose rehabilitation for him. Dibs later joined the Inquisitors and went on a mission to Mon Cala where he died. I believe that Dibs is not a member of the Lost 20 because of his time in rehabilitation or because he turned away from the Jedi after the Lost 20 list was created. Now for Unidentified Rogue Jedi. Believe it or not, this character is one of the most significant characters in Star Wars and still isn't identified. Anyway, thousands of years before the Clone Wars, this Jedi began to study the dark side and came to the conclusion that the contemplation and passivity of the Jedi held them back. This Jedi was exiled but gained a group of followers which eventually became the Sith during the 100-Year Darkness. Next up is Seer Junda. Seer was a Jedi Knight and a Seeker. She was the Padawan of Cordova and took on the Padawan Trilla Suduri. She severed her connection to the Force after falling to the dark side briefly. Now for Zava Kul. All we know is that they thought blaster rifles were fun and they became a Jedi outcast. Next up is Eve Koth. Eve Koth was a Jedi Master which fought in the Clone Wars and sat on the Council for a time. Koth was removed from the Jedi Council and his seat was given to Agent Kolar. After this he left the Jedi Order. Koth became a priest and started a family, and after the Jedi Purge was killed by Vader. I believe Eve Koth is not a member of the Lost 20 due to not completely betraying the Jedi and because his departure was too late on. Now for Tula Makona's grandmother. They were a Jedi which fell in love with a roguish stranger. They had a son which they taught everything they knew. Next up is Nakmed, a Jedi Padawan which left the Jedi Order to pursue his own path. He met a female individual and had a daughter named Jahara. He later learned about the Jedi Purge, believing Palpatine's propaganda of the Jedi Uprising. He was tracked down by the Grand Inquisitor. He broke the Grand Inquisitor's lightsaber in battle and fled to Pamba. He later died after being visited by his great-grandson, knowing that he protected his family. Finally, we have Leia, the daughter of Anakin, Princess of Alderaan, a key part in the rebellion, and a senator. There is a lot of information on Leia, with some notable things she's done being secretly working for the rebellion, escaping the Death Star, surviving an encounter with Vader and Boba Fett on Cloud City, killing Jabba the Hutt, fighting in the Battle of Endor, training as a Jedi, becoming a Republic Senator, and leading the Resistance. It was in this role she trained Rey. Leia trained with Luke, but decided that she didn't want to be a Jedi after having visions of helping the galaxy in other ways, and seeing the death of her unborn son if she was to carry on. She later died calling out to Ben Solo through the Force, but just before she let the voices and faces of her family surround her, and even accepted an apology from Anakin. Just why wasn't that in the movie? It would have been a perfect end for her character. On top of this list there is also the 3 members of the Lost 20, which are Count Dooku, Trennis and Radaki. But you can find out more about them in The Lost 20 Explained. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again at Vault Holocron. Bye.